What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the latest episode of The Legislative Director, talking about legislative things. Here she is, Legislative Director Amber Marr.
Oh.
taking it easy on her today.
I was like...
With her, as
right.
always, not the Legislative Director, Jason Thompson. I almost said not the Legislative Director, Amber Marr. We would have had two Amber Marrs on the show.
Nobody wants that.
It's what the people want. So, Amber, we are on day, I think, 78 of the month of January, and we are almost to February. Well, so that we got that going for us, but we have a jammed-packed episode today.
We do.
We got lots to talk about, including a new segment,
which I'm so excited.
We got a new segment on the show that we will reveal towards the end after we're done talking about some legislation. So we're excited about that. So make sure you stay tuned for that. It's going to be fun. But because we have so much going on, let's just dive right into it. What happened this week? Let's talk about what we worked on.
I do have to say something really quick, though.
Let's do that first.
During the opening of the show, you scared me and my face started to twitch.
I get that a lot.
If it keeps going, we may have to, I don't know what's happening, but you scared me and then I was like,
it's like twitch. Inducing stress and face twitching.
And then you didn't even say a joke like you normally do.
Like it's just,
everything's all,
just reached back and it wasn't there.
Things all haphazard.
Speaking of haphazard,
I guess nothing.
Let's talk about this week.
Funny this week. Okay. Yes. Jumping right in. I just had to make that comment.
No, I appreciate it.
If everybody can see it.
I'll let you know if it starts twitching.
Great. Okay. Oh, I know. Because right off the top, we're going to start talking about our volunteer legislative team was here.
They were in the house on Monday.
Absolutely.
Had a good crew from all over the state here in town, going over to the Statehouse with us, specifically to work on one bill.
Yes.
That we're going to talk about now. But just overall, fantastic to see the Ledge team back in action. It had been a minute, obviously, not since the end of last session that they were here. And we got some new team members that joined us. It was all in all a good time.
It was a really good day.
It was a really great day. What were they talking about?
Yes, we were talking with the Appropriations Committee on Senate Bill 513, which is the state administered retirement program. This is a piece of legislation that establishes the Hoosier Crossroads Retirement Program, and it creates a board to design and operate it. And actually, I say operate it, but really this will be through the Treasurer's Office. It is a public-private partnership. So really the Treasurer's Office will do an RFP, and a third party that consistently does this type of thing will win the bid, and then they will run the program. The board is just to oversee to make sure everything's going appropriately. And then employers would qualify if they have not, for the past 2 years, offered a retirement plan for their employees. And that's just to ensure that employers that currently have a retirement plan don't get rid of that and then join this, because that is not the purpose. We are trying to provide these plans for folks who currently do not have access to them. So as we all know, I think we have said this multiple times, but employees that are offered retirement savings plans through their employer will save over and over, more so than they would go out on their own to find one if they did not have access to one.
And what's great about this plan too is it's an auto. Did you say that?
It's an opt-out, which means if the employer is taking part in this plan, the employer will automatically enroll their employees. If their employees do not want to participate, they just have to opt out.
Okay.
And the enrolled contribution rate is at 5% of wages.
Okay.
Which go into a separate account for each employee and can be transferred from job to job.
Awesome.
Yes. I'm trying to think. Let's see. I was just going to say, it makes employers more competitive. They can retain employees longer, all of the good things. 11 states have these programs, and 9 additional states are implementing them.
Cool. Yeah, so that's what the legislative team was working on when they were here. I think if for those of you that are watching, producer Anna is going to put some of that on the screen. You're going to get to see some of that that team in action. And look at that.
Yes.
There's a lot happening at the Statehouse. Look, that's
those are our fellows.
Yeah.
Well, they were past and present.
Yes, it's a little family reunion, if you will. And then we just if you're watching this and if you're listening, we're just kind of scrolling through some photos of our legislative team meeting with a whole bunch of legislators. So we were working with members of the Tax Appropriations Committee.
Yes.
Encouraging them to give this bill a hearing. And we had a lot of senators that came out to talk with our folks.
We absolutely did.
So that was great to see.
And our ask was, so Senator Becker, I feel like we have said this on here, but just as a reminder, Senator Becker asked for it to be sent directly to appropriations, which, is always concerning because appropriations has so many bills. However, I do think it was a good move because if it was heard in pensions and labor, it would have had to be recommitted anyway.
Yep.
To appropriations. So the recommit, and with the time that we have to ask for a hearing, it was better that it just got put there. However, we're still unsure whether we're going to get a hearing. We are aware that there are some concerns, especially from the chairman of the committee, that, the state should not be in the banking business. However, we continue to say that it really wouldn't be the state.
Nope.
It would be a private entity running these retirement programs. So because there is so much discussion, especially right now with the Braun administration, Governor Braun, on, making sure that we're saving money, that we're not, that there isn't a lot of, how can I say this? Just to ensure that everything is on the up and up, that we're being very efficient. And I think one of the things that we want to continue to sort of hit home is that if we're not encouraging folks to save, how will they ever on the back end be able to afford anything in retirement?
Yep.
So we think that this is a great way to reduce reliance on those taxpayer programs that Governor Braun is talking about that have gotten somewhat out of control, in his opinion.
So, I mean, that's some folks, I think, were receptive to that. I think there are a lot of senators that are like the idea of this kind of folks being able to take control of their own financial future, if you will.
Yes.
But whether or not it's going to get the hearing, we shall see.
And I also wanted to reiterate, because I do know that there has been some questions, but this program is for workers of for-profit and not for-profit, with 5 or more employees who otherwise do not have access to an employer retirement savings plan.
Okay. Cool.
And I believe in the bill, it even says self-employed. I think that has also been a question.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
well, it was legislative team did great work. Always great to have our volunteers here. And we'll just keep on pushing for this. Hopefully it gets a hearing.
Yes.
And we'll have to keep on talking about it on the show. It's not like it's going away, or at least this topic is not going away. We'll see what happens with the legislation. One last thing you want to touch base on?
I just wanted to give a couple of stats that I don't know that we've talked about before.
Okay.
So we have Senate Bill 513 is going to help. We have 1 million Hoosier workers that lack access to a traditional pension or retirement savings plan through their employer, which apparently, according to this stat, 42% of Indiana private sector employees work for an employer that does not offer a traditional pension or retirement plan. Mm-hmm. So I just think it's really important to know that there really are
a lot of folks
still individuals out there that do not have this access.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yep.
Well, hopefully that bill will get its hearing and we'll get to talk about it more and see it move forward. What else did we work on this week?
Oh, sorry.
Is there something else you wanted to say? I'm moving on to another topic.
I know. I just wanted to also say that maybe I'm not going to say it. Oh, a lot of the individuals that we were calling out were on the bill.
Yeah.
So we were also thanking folks for signing on to the bill, and 2 more individuals have signed on since then. That I knew I had forgotten that. But Senator Becker is the author, and then we have a lot of other individuals that are also authors. So Senator Greg Walker, Senator Alteen, the co-authors are Senator Kadora, Hunley, Jackson, Pohl, and then I believe Senator Lysine and Senator Glick have also.
I think Senator Ford.
Oh, Senator
as well.
J.D. Ford.
So it is
there are a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a bipartisan bill.
Yes.
Which is always great to see. That was an important point to bring up. So thank you.
Yes.
For that.
Okay. Now I'm ready.
Now we'll see what happens.
Yes.
But that's not. Look, this is a busy week as per usual. But you testified on Tuesday in the Tax and Fiscal Policy Committee on the Senate side. What did we talk about?
We talked about Senate Bill 6, which is the property tax deferral program, which is actually one of the options that we have been talking about with legislators around our property tax agenda.
Yep.
And thank you to Senator Rogers and Senator Holdman, who are authors. Oh, and I'm sorry, it looks like even more people have signed on as well to this one. Senator Buchanan and Gaskell around this property tax deferral bill, which is something that we support. So in this bill, it does authorize a county to adopt an ordinance to establish a property tax payment deferral program. It does allow a little leeway for them to make some of these rules, including eligibility. For example, even in the bill, it does mention, let me see, other qualifications that a county can choose to require in an ordinance adopted under this chapter would include an age requirement for, they say seniors in here, we would say aging Hoosiers are 65 and older, but the bill says seniors, an assessed value limitation. So like they can have an AV requirement, veteran status, income based. It really does allow the local government to have some input on what this looks like. But just to restate, over 20 states have these deferral programs. These tax deferral programs allow individuals to defer paying their property taxes until they sell their home or their estate is settled. Okay. Property tax deferral do not eliminate the taxes. That's very important to know, which get paid back with interest when the owner sells the property or, again, the estate is settled. So just knowing it is a very low interest rate, but it does allow individuals to delay a portion of their property taxes if they need that relief. Now, again, they have to pay the MAC. And so in essence, a lien would be placed on your property until it is paid. Yeah. And then, so, I mean, we'll put some footage on the screen right now of Amber testifying in committee. You can't necessarily hear her talking, but she's letting the committee know why AARP supports this legislation. Senate Bill 6. Because as you were saying, it gives people that opportunity to just give them a little bit of help. It's not like people get to not pay their property taxes for a long period of time or whatnot. It's just that dollar amount and things of that nature. And I think this is a great opportunity to also say that this is very targeted. Yes. Which is another reason why we are trying to be thoughtful and conscious that this discussion can get a little dicey because we want local governments to be able to continue to provide service and allow people to age in place. So this is targeted. It also gives the local governments, while they might have a small reduction in revenue, they will eventually get that revenue back. Yes. Yeah, and I think that's what we heard from some of the local government folks or organizations that were on hand to testify, is that they said that they didn't oppose it. It was something that was very targeted, as we've already mentioned, and allowed them to still provide that or get that revenue to provide those services while still providing some relief for folks. Yes. And just a quick note also, in this bill, in Senate Bill 6, it does cap the amount of money that individuals can defer over their lifetime of owning their home. And also, I believe that you have to have owned your home for 5 years. Yes, you have to have owned your home for 5 years before applying for the deferral program. Yep. Okay. So there are some things already in the bill that local communities can't necessarily change, but these are all things to make sure that folks have equity in their home before they start to delay these property taxes. And then also, what was I going to say? Oh, the cap on the amount. I believe it's $10,000. Yeah. Is that right? That's correct. Yes. Yeah. I think it's 10. Because you can defer up to $500 a year. Is that what it was? Let's see. Did it say
I thought
500 a
I
year?
thought it was 500. As low as 100 and as much as 500. I could be making this up.
Provides that the maximum amount of taxes that may be deferred cumulative a year may not exceed 10,000.
So maybe that's
because I think you were thinking 500. Well, let me just double check this. I don't think
I don't want to give you guys,
there.
I don't want to give you guys bad intel.
I think the reason why you and I were thinking that is because we are trying to envision how many years they could defer it before they reach the 10,000.
Yeah.
So I think, I don't know. I don't think the 500 is up. Okay. You did remember it correctly.
Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
Okay. So thanks for
that happened.
If the applicant is qualified for a deferral, the county auditor shall approve the deferral in the lesser of the amount requested by the applicant, which may not be less than $100.
Okay.
So you have to at least be deferring 100, and the maximum amount
500. Nailed it.
Okay, so you're right. That's why we were talking because
Okay.
we were saying 500. If you literally deferred 500, we shouldn't do.
We're not gonna do it.
Okay.
We're not gonna do math.
The point is, it can't be year over year. You're continuously deferring, and then you get so upside down that's not happening. So they did cap that.
Yeah. So I think we should probably just end the show now because I got this information correct.
I'm so glad you remembered
just
that.
walk away.
I don't know why I didn't remember
Just
that.
walk away right now.
I remembered the 10,000, not the 500.
Just kidding. We'll continue talking around. As producer Anna just said in the chat that I'm monitoring, no notes Topsy for the win. Boom.
I'm not giving you
Feels
credit
great.
for that.
Feels great.
I'm just kidding. I give you credit. I just
I appreciate
get
that.
annoyed because I have all of these notes and yet
Look,
I still don't remember the
look,
500.
sometimes broken clock is right twice a day, as they say.
That is so
Old timey? Yes, it is. It is. It's a little old timey saying.
I like old timey sayings.
So do I.
All right.
I say them often. So there you go. So, Amber, good work on testifying on that bill. They held it, right? It did not get a vote.
And again, you have no notes for this.
They
did hold it. I do think they did. Because here's the thing. There were a couple of things that they were worried about. And so they did need to make sure that when someone is deferring their property taxes and then they all of a sudden pay that back, they can get in trouble on a county level if all this money is coming in, but then they were short.
Yeah, it was like a windfall. What are they going to do with it?
And then also, I believe the counties had a little bit of an issue with something around assessors versus something else. I think I have it in my notes, but there's just a little caveat. So she did hold it, Senator Holdman held it, and then Senator Rogers is going to continue to work on this language, which, by the way, I will touch base with her because we do need to know kind of what that looks like because it could be back up as early as Tuesday.
Yeah.
That's the wrong folder.
So I have no notes. You have too many notes.
That's why. Maybe that's the simplicity. And then I can never find the right notes. I'm
just throwing stuff out there and being like, I don't know if that's true or not.
So many notes.
I don't know if that's true.
And held.
Yep, look at that. See her notes come through to confirm.
Oh, he said 2 weeks. So he might bring it back in 2 weeks.
This is true.
Because I think on Tuesday, it'll be Senate Bill 1. They're hearing Senate Bill 1.
Oh, yes, Senate Bill 1, which is
the big Governor Braun's property tax bill.
Yeah, so that'll be fun to watch.
When Senator Holdman was on our property tax forum, he did express that he did have major concerns. They were still talking about it because it's like $1 billion loss.
Working through it,
per year.
Because if you watched our property tax forum, where Senator Holdman joined us as a guest, he specifically said that, you said.
He did. It was great.
It was good stuff.
I mean, it was heavy. I meant it was great that Senator Holdman joined us.
Yes, I agree. Okay, anything else about Senate Bill 6?
I think we can move on.
Cool. Next up is... Oh, there we go.
You just cheated.
I did. I consulted her notes.
Little do you all know, he peeked because he wanted to know what was next, and I have the notes. So I had to circle it, and then he told you what was next. So really...
Equaled out.
I don't really think you can say you don't have any notes.
This is true. I don't.
Because
I have
you're
your
a cheater,
notes.
cheater.
So what
Do
happened
you see
next?
what I deal with?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's up?
What happened
What's
next? What was next?
You, since you cheated, you say
Okay,
it.
state of the state. Governor Braun's first state of the state address was Wednesday evening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, did you want me to talk about
Yeah,
it?
you can talk about it. Yeah.
Every year, the governor does a state of the state. They go through different proposals or their plans on what the next couple months will look like during session. And there was a lot of talk about property taxes. So there was a lot of talk about a lot of things, but we specifically honed in on the fact that, just like our survey says, the survey we did in December for 1,001 individuals.
Very good. Very good.
Age 50 and older and homeowners.
Registered voters.
Yes. They wanted property taxes to be at the forefront.
Yep,
and
they wanted it to be a priority.
It is.
And it for sure was. The governor specifically mentioned relief for older homeowners in his remarks. Yep. So there was a lot of conversation about legislation in this state of the state, where he was specifically calling out bill numbers and things like that, which I don't feel like you normally see you'll see it on the occasion, but it just seemed like there was a lot of bills that he was following and hoping to see more of.
Yes, I was actually. Because his agenda is called the Freedom and Opportunity agenda. Yes, he did. He referenced that, and he talked about being bold and innovative, and just a couple other things. Education was in there. I'm just kind of going down this so that we can kind of give some. Oh, he did talk about Senate Bill 1.
Okay.
I don't think he actually said the bill number. He just said Senator Holdman introduced our Freedom and Opportunity Property Tax Bill, which is Senate Bill 1. So, that was around that. Okay, let's see. Just scrolling through here just to make sure.
Scrolling through the remarks.
Yeah, just in case in case people kind of want to know what else he talked about.
It was a variety of topics.
Oh yeah, workforce was a big topic.
Yeah,
too.
Economic development. Mm-hmm. He's a Main Street entrepreneur, as he likes to say.
Yep.
And so he leaned heavily into his
healthcare costs.
Yeah, prior experience. Healthcare costs. I think outside of property taxes, the healthcare costs conversation is probably his next priority, I would say, on his agenda. So yeah, it was the first state of the state for the governor, and so that was the big event. That was a big event this week as well.
That was it's always held in the evening around 7 p.m. I'm sure there's a place if you missed it, you can go back and listen to it. But
check it out.
We always watch to get a good handle on what's coming down the pike.
Absolutely.
So okay.
All right. So that was the state of the state. Next thing is we had a utility piece of legislation that we talked about.
I was like, what is next? But then I looked at that bill number.
The pen's covering up your
your
notes.
Even then, I still don't know the bill numbers. That's the big thing right now.
So
somebody's like, what's the bill number? I don't know.
So there was a bill. It was Senate Bill 422.
Yes.
Advanced transmission technologies. And what is advanced transmission technology? You may ask.
You don't even have any notes on this.
I don't.
Are you going to be able to talk about this?
I think I'm going to. We're going to try.
I can't wait. I'm ready.
So for those of you there's long range transmission lines. So those are those towers with the lines that you see when you're out driving down the road. Okay. And those are the things that connect to where the power is generated. And that's how it gets onto the grid. There is these advanced transmission technologies, which rather than building all new long range transmission lines, is that you can replace those lines with newer ones that have some newer technology on it that can squeeze some more efficiency and things like that out of your what is currently built and get more energy to the grid for you can get them up online quicker. You can they're cheaper and you're using existing infrastructure. So that is what this bill was about. And it is encouraging There's some studies in there from the for the IURC, which is the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission, and specifically, it's asking utilities to, and I always forget what this is, but I always forget what it is. So I'm actually going to read off the screen here.
Off of my screen.
Yeah. Integrated resource plans, because I always just know it's just IRP. So each utility has to present these to say, hey, this is what we're going to do for so many years, and the IRC approves that. They're making sure that these technologies, advanced transmission technologies, are included in those plans. So that's kind of part of what's going on. Ideally, we hope that this will lead to more of using new technology with kind of what is there already to get more capacity onto the grid sooner for cheaper, which ultimately will save ratepayers money. So we testified in support. Senator Cook, who is the chair of the Senate Utilities Committee and the author of the bill, we're at his committee meeting and said we support this, and it passed out to the committee.
I don't think that Anna had something teed up to show you testifying.
Yes, and that was probably by design.
That's not fair.
Yeah, there's some picture of me out there somewhere. We'll figure it out.
I took it.
It was there.
Okay.
It was a nice little committee meeting. We'll circle back to it next week.
Yeah.
We'll make sure we'll put that out there.
But we do appreciate Senator Cook is always very open about talking, even when not everyone agrees.
Yes.
In his committee, there is always a very big discussion, and he welcomes individuals to express where they stand. And I think he runs a very fair committee and really appreciates when people come forward, whether you support or oppose.
Yep. I think he likes having the discussion out. And so I think it was a good discussion. This was what I would consider not a controversial bill. There was a lot of support for it because I think everybody agrees that we need transmission. So we're not saying that you can't have the new transmission as part of getting more energy and capacity onto the grid, but utilizing these new technologies, you can maybe do it quicker and cheaper for the ratepayers and still get some of those benefits that you would get from a new transmission line. So it passed out of committee. We'll see what happens when it gets to the floor, but it was nice to be back in Senate Utilities testifying in support of a bill. So there you go.
I'm kind of impressed by that.
Let me tell you.
When you only have one topic to worry about.
Yeah,
it's pretty easy.
It's pretty easy when I'm not I don't have to talk about property taxes. I don't got to talk about anything with regards to healthcare or anything along those lines, or Medicaid, whatever, housing. These are all things you get in the mix on. I'm just like, you know what? Let's talk about power lines. That's what we're talking
I'm
about.
just kidding. I know that it's very complicated.
It's very complicated.
I'm just jealous that I have to have notes.
Yes. Well, look, I obviously had to use some of yours.
Find them half the time.
So that was that was a utility action today.
Before we get to the new segment, though.
Okay. What do we want to talk about?
I just wanted to say we also sat in Ways and Means today.
Okay. We're recording this on Thursday, as per usual.
Yes. And we wanted to hear the presentation given by NDOT.
Yep.
As we have in past years during the budget session and cycle, we have supported not only to maintain the public mass transit fund, but also we've asked to increase it. We have not been able to achieve that, but have been grateful that it hasn't been cut. So again, this year we were just seeing if NDOT was going to bring up any places where they were making cuts. They didn't mention public mass transit fund, but they did mention that 300 or so projects that had been in the pipeline have been halted.
Yeah.
So while that doesn't necessarily touch PMTF, we are going to meet with Secretary Ubelor here coming up and having some great conversation. We were able to kind of just grab him at the end of the presentation today and just had a quick convo. But I think that's something to look forward to us talking about in the future. Yeah,
stay tuned. Funding for public mass transit is something that we'll we're going to kind of push to the forefront, hopefully. And we'll see what the secretary, what he thinks about that. He's part of, Governor Braun has reorganized state government. You're going to sneeze, aren't you? That's okay. You can do that. I'm just going to keep on talking. So there's a bunch of new verticals, as they say.
Yep.
And so the secretary has things like the Indiana Department of Transportation, NDOT, the BMV. Broadband,
Yep.
And then I think the Northwest Indiana Regional Transit. So that's the South Shore Railroad and things of that nature up that way. Where I grew up. Fun fact. Big fan of the train. So that was it was good to kind of just say hello, and that we'll be talking to him soon about some public mass transit.
Yep.
Okay.
I didn't want to forget that part.
I appreciate that. So it's been a busy week. Now is the time, though. I think this might be the thing I'm most excited for.
I'm so excited.
We have a new segment.
We'll see if you all like it.
We're going to put it up on screen right now. Welcome to the new segment. Friend of talking about Anna.
Yes.
I'm gonna ask her to come on screen here. There she is. Yes. Welcome to the show, Anna. As per usual, thank you for all that you do. So our new segment. Let's do it. Let's do it. So the problem is that I can't hear you when you're talking. And we did not think through this beforehand. Right. Hi, everybody. We're back. We sorted out our technical difficulties. This is what happens. When you're really innovative and bringing new ideas to the table, sometimes you forget about the logistics of how it's going to work. So, Anna, welcome. She is in a new location. Mm-hmm. So that's great. Good to have you where you are. That is our cutout of our founder, Ethel Percy Andrus, which is also fun to have here. Anna, let's do it. Fast facts with Anna. Here we go. First of all, great to have you on the show.
I know.
Great to be here.
Back, actually.
Welcome back. You have been on the
She's
show,
been on the show before.
A couple of times now. And now she's going to be with us every episode. You can see the excitement in her face. For those of you who are listening, just trust me when I say that she's super pumped. So here we go. Fast facts with Anna. Anna, take it away.
All right. So for our first fast fact, you may be wondering why Amber and Jason are always wondering what bill numbers are. That's because there are an insane number of bills filed every year. So this year, we started with 714 bills in the House and 543 in the Senate, but 3 have been withdrawn. So we're down to 540 for a grand total of 1,254 bills filed for the 2025 session.
So much legislation.
That's insane.
So if you're ever wondering why things are so hard to keep track of, it's because there were over 1,200 bills filed.
Wow, Anna, thank you. Look at that. Crushed it. First time out of the gate.
And it made me feel better when I'm like, what number is it? Or even when people at the Statehouse, they bring up an issue and they're like, okay, so our issue is in, Senator so-and-so's bill. And I'm like, what bill number is that? I cannot, I'm not there yet. I will, we, do I need to say that a million more times? I can't even talk. I feel as though as time goes on in session, we get much better.
Yeah. And we start understanding, and I said we a few times there as well.
It's like, I don't know, you get on the we and it's like, I have to say it 19 times.
It's a hard word.
I was stuttering. I don't know.
As things go through the process, then it becomes obviously more bills don't advance.
Yes.
So there's less numbers to remember. But at the start, it gets a little chaotic.
Because I think it's really important to know. So at the halftime where all of the Senate bills go to the House, not all the House bills go to the Senate, obviously any of the bills that didn't make it past that process, they will fall off. I mean, then they turn into amendments everywhere else. But the good news is that then we have usually about half of those will not move forward.
That
So,
may or may not be a fast fact in the future. I don't know.
we'll see.
We'll
But
see what
this
Anna
is
decides.
a great fast fact.
There we go. Anna, thank you so much
Thank
for
you. You are
I
welcome.
hope you guys enjoyed that as much as we did once we figured it out.
Yes.
Thanks for sticking with us. And that was Fast Facts with Anna. There we go.
Bye, everybody. See you next week.
See you next week.
Thanks, Anna.
Thanks, Anna.
Awesome. That was good stuff. That was good stuff.
That was great.
You know,
I'm really excited about this new segment.
you really are, and so am I.
am.
It's great. It's look, you gotta keep it
Do
fresh.
you
We're
not
gonna try
want to
new
be
things.
excited about it?
I always want you to be excited about this show and
Didn't
anything
seem
that
like
goes
that.
with it. Okay.
All right.
We-
Here's what I should say. I'm so excited about the new segment.
Is that a bit on me? Is that what's happening here? Is that what's happening? Amber, before we go, what else do we want to talk about here? Let's talk a little bit about. First of all, there's a lot going on here on this desk or on this table.
You don't even. Speaking of tech issues,
Yes.
if anybody could, for those of you that are listening and not watching, I have my laptop. I have my keyboard from my office and my mouse. Because what happened was last week, my entire keyboard on my laptop stopped working. It only started with like 2 letters, an A and an M, which is oddly enough not helpful because clearly I have A's and M's in my name. So that was also very frustrating, but I could kind of work around it, okay, whatever. And then it was like one more letter, then it was half the keyboard, and then the whole keyboard went out. So I'm waiting on my new laptop. It has arrived.
It has arrived.
It's just not here. So when I get home tonight, I will be able to get it. And then I will not have to carry, literally I carry my keyboard and my mouse home every night. And I've been using JT's computer on top of it because sometimes I just need to pull out real quick and I don't have any place to put my keyboard. Like at the Statehouse, I can't really travel with my keyboard and my mouse. Anyway, it has been a whole thing.
Yes, it has. But
and imagine in the middle of session, my computer.
It's bad timing.
It's not.
It's for sure bad timing. But the good thing is that I have I have 2 computers.
Yeah.
And so you could use my other.
We haven't been sharing a computer.
That's true. We have not been sharing.
That would not work.
I have 2 computers because while I don't need notes, I still need a computer. So I would. So there's 2 computers that I have, and I was able to kind of let Amber use my other one.
So thank you.
You're welcome.
I've been dealing with 2 computers.
Happy to help. Can't have you without the technology.
I will have one computer that will work and a keypad, and all will be right with the world again.
It shall.
So anyway,
awesome.
This is explaining why all of this stuff is on my desk.
Some of it's going to be hidden behind these laptops, but I see it. And there we go. Little show of the keyboard there. Okay.
And my clicky click mouse that Anna said is very loud.
It's very loud. Very loud.
Because I'm like click 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 because I have a million tabs
Smashing
open.
it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we can move on from that. Oh, so last thing, we can probably wrap up.
Okay.
Next week is going to be another busy week.
Always.
We have, as we already mentioned, Senate Bill 1 is going to be heard. There's going to be a bill that we have not chatted about that we will in the future. And I'm sorry, I'm trying to pull up we don't have it on the screen because I did not ask Anna to put it up there. So don't get worried, but it's about earned wage access services. We are part of a Hoosiers for Responsible Lending Coalition, and members of that coalition have been very, very active on this. Since we have had to sort of triage some other issues, they are giving this I believe, a second hearing next week, and we are going to hopefully join the efforts in trying to either make this bill better or try to just get rid of it completely. But I know many conversations have happened that I need to catch up on. So just know we will be talking about this bill in the future.
Okay.
What else next week?
It's February.
And obviously still working to
finally
February. And so, yes, we will be continuously having discussions around trying to get a hearing for Senate Bill 513.
Yes.
I'm sure there's other things.
And there's going to be property tax bills. Maybe we'll see what happens with it. Like, because you said Senate Bill 1 and other ones. Like, just stay tuned to see what's next.
Honestly, the regular budget hearing may, because
budget might be coming out.
1001 hasn't dropped yet.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't checked today, but I don't think it has.
Which is the budget.
So just know that also then hearings will be happening on the budget that the House puts forward.
It's not going to slow down.
No.
Just going to get busier.
Yes.
Okay. Amber, always a pleasure.
The sunrises are nice from my office window.
It's because that's how early you're getting here.
Except for tonight, I won't be able to see the sunset because there isn't a sun and it's very dark. I think it's going to rain.
Amber arrives in the dark and leaves in the dark.
It's depressing.
A little bit.
But who doesn't? Everybody's doing that right now.
Yes, everybody's working very hard.
Yeah.
And I appreciate
I feel like that's
everybody who
not,
is.
when somebody hears that, they'll be like, yeah, well, I do that.
Yeah, that's true.
So is everybody.
Well, for those of you that
All
are arriving at work and leaving at work, or leaving at work, leaving from work in the dark, we salute you. Keep at it. Know that you have friends on this show that do the same.
Yes.
Less so me, more so Amber. But I appreciate all you. Appreciate everybody listening. Appreciate
Yes.
Anna. Thank you for the
Thank
new
you,
segment.
Anna.
Round of applause on the new segment. It's great. It's great.
I love the new segment.
I love the new segment.
But I'm supposed to
it's perfect.
tone down the
No,
excitement.
ramp up the excitement because there's going to be a lot of these fast facts from Anna. Okay, well, stay tuned for what is going to happen next and join us next week on the Legislative Director talking about legislative things. We'll see you then.